Hey guys, so Lord here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Mattel Creations exclusive Masters of the Universe Origins Fang-Or. One of my personal favorite, if not possibly my favorite, Snake Man that the fine folks over at Mattel. See how I was able to blend that in and not make it seem repetitive or redundant or just flat up stupid. You know, if I didn't say that, it'd probably be a little bit more clever, but you know what? I never claimed to be a professional. That's not what you get here at Overlord Productions. Either way, this guy's by far one of my favorite Snake Men we've gotten this year in the life of the Masters of the Universe Origins line. Maybe second to Snakeface, maybe ahead of Snakeface. I don't know. I always thought Fang-Or had a really cool design, even though he's got something a bit questionable going on with his chompers. Particularly the large interchangeable chompers he comes with, but we'll take a look at that in just a minute here. Because first we got the mini comic, which is exclusive to good old Fang-Or here. And I will tell you, I did notice with Fang-Or specifically, his packaging was resealable. That would have been nice to have, I don't know, for all these. That said, his mini comic came in a little baggie, which was nice because you didn't have to risk them gluing the mini comic to the cardboard backing and the plastic clamshell when they slapped the two together. So it was nice and easy to take out. You were able to take it out without damaging it. And, you know, it came with a baggie for safekeeping. So that's very, very nice. I hope that's how things are going forward. It does have the MOTU logo on the back. Care about that. That said, if you want one, you gotta get your own. Gotta get your own to see what's inside of that. That being said, that was also the first mini comic I got that I noticed, anyways, that didn't have the little pamphlet that showed you what popped off the figure. You know, typically with Origins, you can pop off the head, the arms, at the shoulder, the hands, and the waist, and the boots. Or the calves, or lower legs, whatever you want to call them. Now, if you're savvy with a hairdryer, you can pop off the hips, the knees, the elbows, pretty much anything and everything, even the feet. But, again, you need a hairdryer for that. So, kids, ask your parents for help with that. I'm sure, I have no kids watching this, but, you know, if you're a big kid like me and kind of an idiot, you might need some help with that. So, now that I'm done exposing how dumb I am, let's take a look at Fang-Or's accessories, his real accessories, starting off with his epic-looking sword. This is awesome. I love the way this thing looks. This thing looks like it's going to hurt when it goes into your flesh and starts ripping the snot out of it. Like that's a nasty instrument of pain right there. Then he also comes with this little cuckold wrench here. I think this kind of sucks. Now, I will say, my one gripe with this figure is, back when Super 7 had the Masters of the Universe license and was making MOTU Classics, they made a Fang-Or in those, which I probably will never have because it's probably crazy expensive on the secondary market, and my good buddy Evil Villain wants to hang on to that, which, you know, rightfully so. He's got all the Snake Men. That'd be stupid to part with one of them, right? Got a complete team. You want to keep that team together. Makes sense, right? That said, he was telling me that that figure not only came with this wrench and this sword and an alt head with a particular something going on with it, but it also came with a hammer, I think a wrench, and a little critter that hung out on Fang-Or's shoulder. You know, we didn't get any of those. So I would have gladly have paid the deluxe price to get those extra things, but fortunately, Mattel wasn't willing to throw that kind of money at good old Fang-Or here. So that is a bit unfortunate. Hopefully we'll get those things at some point, because they even teased the little critter that hangs out with Fang-Or on the Lady Slither box, who we will be taking a look at tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. That said, Fang-Or does come with one other thing, and it kind of goes with his name, Fang-Or, and it's his fangs. And the funny thing is, this guy is like your grandpa at the senior citizen home. In order to swap out his fangs, you literally gotta pop his teeth out like dentures. And swap the new ones in. And now he looks less like a snake and more like a demonic walrus who likes the Beatles way too much. You know that one song? I am the walrus. Poo poo ka-choo, poo poo ka-choo. Like, that is the exact thing that pops into my head when I look at this figure. That said, much like Snakeface, this doesn't take up a lot of real estate on the shelf, so I will most likely display him with these giant tusk fangs. Because even though they do kind of look like walrus teeth, they do still look pretty freaking cool. It's like a saber-toothed snake or something. But for now, I am going to pop them out. We are just going to keep his little itty-bitty baby teeth in his mouth for now. And we'll probably bring the other teeth back out towards the end for final thoughts or something. But there you go. That said, this guy appears to use a lot of parts from King Hiss, specifically the arms and the legs. The lower legs appear to be 2000X Skeletor, based off the shin guards there. And the crotch looks to be Ratlore. So he is a lot of reuse, but it's parts we don't see combined in this configuration very often. So I'm all here for it. This is good reuse. I like this reuse. I think it makes sense for the character. That said, the torso armor and the head appear to be new. I didn't mention it in the Frogmonger review. I'll bring him in for a quick second here since we're talking about new parts. His torso is actually new, and so are his lower legs. Now, I'm not one for, you know, heavy conspiracy theories and whatnot, but I could totally see them reusing this and these for a Modulok in the future, and hopefully it's not behind a crowdfund campaign for the Fright Zone, which I feel will inevitably get, because I'm recording this video before that goes live, for those of you watching this when it goes up, which would be all of you, because I don't have a Patreon where I let you guys get a sneak peek at things before they're put out to the public. So, you know, just my 2 cents on that. But as far as articulation on Fang-Or goes, his head can look up and down really well because of that awesome double ball peg they use on this line. He does have a tilt side to side as well. His shoulders go out, back down, rotates forward and back. He's got an elbow twist. Hinge at the elbow. I will say, some people have been breaking this guy. I'm a little amazed as to how. Because I did heat mine's knees up, but after that, I haven't had any problems with him. So I don't know why people are breaking their toys, but they are. A bunch of manhandlers. Savages, savages, breaking all your figures. Savages, savages. Anyone want to see a full-length parody of that? Let me know in the comments. That's Savages from the Disney movie Pocahontas, by the way. Random references aside, he does have a swivel in the wrist with a hinge. He's got waist twist, which is nice and tight because the Ratlore crotch here has a sculpted on belt, which it's actually glued on, but it's one piece with the crotch. So it does help kind of stiffen things up a bit down there. And, you know, that's what she said. That's what she likes. She digs it. She bangs. She bangs. His hips kick out to the side, kick back and down. They rotate forward and back nicely. He's got a swivel at the knee, hinge at the knee. This side, I think, actually, yeah, this one clicks, whereas this one just kind of, it doesn't really click, but it does have a detent in there. It does have a boot swivel and a hinge in the foot with a rocker joint and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So there you go, man. That's Fang-Or in a nutshell. I love this figure. He's one of my favorite origins to come out this year. One of my favorite Snake Men, period. I love his design. And yeah, I'm more than likely going to display him with his walrus teeth, even though it is kind of funny, but it is also kind of cool at the same time. But with that being said, actually, as far as the other snake guys go, I'm not really big on the whole, you know, Lady Slither snake half, the King Hiss kind of snake half, and then the Rattler neck extension thing. I'm not crazy about that. They take up a lot of room, and they're kind of awkward to deal with, but this guy in Snake Face, I think I might have them displayed, you know, going hog wild with their crazy features, because, I don't know, it just adds something to him, makes him a little bit more interesting. You know, Rattler, I think, can hold his own without his neck. King Hiss is King Hiss, and Lady Slither's Lady Slither. They're the leaders of the faction. I think they can hold their own without those add-ons, but I think Fang-Or here helps him stick out a little bit more with his big old honkin' walrus teeth. So, with that being said, let's now move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. Taking a look at some size comparisons, here is good old Fang-Or alongside Speak of the Devil, and the Devil Shall Appear, Snake Face, who we did take a look at last week, so check that review out if you haven't already. Would really appreciate it if you did. And while we're on the topic of devils, anyone else want to figure that Daimar guy from the Filmation series? That would be pretty cool if I do say so myself. And then, something a little different. I don't typically do this, mostly because I have no talent when it comes to things like this, but we also have my custom Snake Man-at-Arms utilizing the Snake Infiltrator body and the helmet from the original Eternian Palace Guard, which came out a couple of years ago, I think, at this point, as well as the chest armor and the club that came with that deluxe release as well. And the reason I have him here is because he taught Fang-Or everything he knows. So Fang-Or built all the vehicles for the Snake Men with the help of Snake Man-at-Arms, who I can only assume was changed back to normal shortly after that. So, moving Snake Face and Man-at-Arms, old donkey, out of the way. And I will do a bit of a tutorial on how I made that when I review the Snake Infiltrator, because I can swap the helmet out still, because it's not glued. But of course this would not be an Overlord Productions video without good old Brother Mandibilith from Ye Old Mythic Legions, and the infamous 11 Spawn, who, because they're not 5.5 inch figures, are literally off screen. So with all that being said, let's move right along and wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and as I said before, I'm 99.98%, because nothing's ever exact, right? Positive that good old Fang-Or here is by far my favorite of the Mattel Creations exclusive figures from the Masters of the Universe Origins line, even though I do wish he did come with his hammer, and I think he also had a screwdriver and a little dragon buddy that sat on his shoulder. Those would have been really nice accessories to have. I would have gladly have paid the deluxe price point to get those, but for the price I paid, I don't feel ripped off in the slightest. I know that some of these figures are, for lack of a better term, priced a bit on the high end, and we'll talk about that when we take a look at Lady Slither tomorrow, but I think Fang-Or here is a nice example of what the Mattel Creations offerings have potential to be. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.